If in reality, Dharmasthala is a living operational model of Dharma in our times, what are the key characteristics of this dharmic model and how does it impact the society and the communities in which it operates?
See, as Swamiji put it, temples are not equal to mosque, is not equal to church. We have a very warped ideas about our places of worship. The church or a mosque is definitely a place of worship. Temple is also a place of worship. You have to subtly understand there is a difference between the two. In a temple, you can have marriages. Suddenly somebody will be performing dance, art, somebody will be performing something else, somebody will be reciting slokams. It is individual and a collective affair. Both will be there. Somebody will be quietly praying, somebody will be doing this. In other words, our temples are places of culture. And for culture to flourish, you have to get rid of poverty. Poverty and culture don't go hand in hand. That is why you see all the civilizations flourished in places where there was pure water. Water was the first sign. That is why water is held as so precious, pure drinking water. That is why on rivers and basins you will find deltas, you will find civilization flourish like what it happened in the Gangetic delta or in the Kaveri delta. These are the places where fine arts and all these things flourished. Historically, even Nile river has the great civilization there. So you will see that all across. Now these are the places where you not only bring in culture, you also ensure the Dharma is upheld. So one of the important reasons for poverty is not only that your stomach is not filled, that the lack of Dharma leads to poverty. So that is what our temples ensured by bringing in Annadana as a concept. Annadana in all temples was one of the basics, and in fact in many of these astrologers, whether they know astrology or not, they will simply say go and do some dana to in a temple. That is what is called as a paracetamol prescription. You have a fever, I do not know whether you have fever for what reason, but I will say take some paracetamol, Dolo 650, at least you will have some temporary cure. Annadana is that beginning. The other danas that go along, as I understand from my visits to Dharmasthala, is that there is a Vidya dana. Next, once your stomach is full, you next want Vidya also, and Vidya is there. Then there is a problem of health, so Aushadha dana is there. But beyond this, the three danas that I told you, something that makes Dharmasthala so unique and a functional model for all other places of worship to in fact think about. That is where I think Heggade ji holds so much of respect in my personal. So this brings us to the more important question, that these are all physical in nature, okay, education, health, food. But there is also a psychological problem many of us face that can be related to what Arjuna faced in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. So much of conundrum, so much of questions, so much of psychological pressure. Will I not be able to? Can I or can I not be able to? Even in Ramayana, Hanumanji faces the same conundrum, whether I can jump up to Sri Lanka, can I see Mata there, can I come back, will I have the strength? Every other Vanara is giving its opinion except Hanuman, who is keeping quiet because he does not know his own self. And it requires a Jambavan there to guide him. Whereas here in Mahabharata, it was Lord Krishna who guides Arjuna, right from chapter 2 onwards. But all of us are requiring that Jambavan or Krishna in our life. At every stage, twist and turn. It may be a small vendor who may guide you, suddenly you may give you when you see the TV, a character in a serial may give you that spark. But generally, you find that it will be available with Swamijis and sons. And that is where Dharmasthala has become a sthala for dispensing Abhayadhana. That psychological treatment is embedded as a institutional mechanism where people go. And a subset of that, I think as a lawyer I am bewildered that people dispense justice and there is a system, and they say that this is what it is, right, and put it across to the Swamiji there, and he takes it up. The Dharmadhikari, he is called Dharmadhikari, he dispenses Dharma, Adhikari for Dharma, and there are long-standing disputes of families. People go there, and if that takes 60 years in a court of law, 50 years in a court of law, it is probably done in a couple of sittings. And the only reason it is done is people adhere to Dharma. Before the Lord, Manjunadeshwarar, they take a oath that they will not speak a lie. And they say that we are coming here with all facts and only facts. And they place it before Swamiji. And that itself leads, and this is not something that has happened last 30-40 years. This has happened for generations. I understand something around 20 odd generations it has happened, and this will happen also. Why? Because people have immense faith in the system. People have immense faith in the Dharmadhikari. People have faith in what is reeled out as justice. And people don't shake their head and come. They shake their head in belief, not they shake in disbelief. So they agree. The shaking of head is like this, not like this. So they say that yes, we bow to the Lord, we bow to the Dharmadhikari. So this is the model that takes it to closer to what we are and distinguishes us from the Western world. The Western world believes always in externalities, whether it is Jesus Christ for a salvation or whether it is a court for giving you justice. Whereas in our system, everything is self. That is why all problems have a solution in yourself. That is what Bhagavad Gita says in more or less in so many words, that you have a solution to every problem in yourself. To awaken the self, you require a Swamiji or a Sant. They are not going to give you a solution. They give you a path or a way that will move you forward and gather that solution. You have to find the solution for your problem. Your solution is not arising from somebody else, or my problem cannot find a solution with somebody else. I have to seek solutions to my problem, and who gives that guidance, which is the path? As he says, we are in a junction and we do not know where to go, and that is where I think Dharmadhikaris are there and they guide you. And this Abhayadana is probably far more advanced in terms of civilizational race that we can be proud of. And this is the model probably UN needs to take it forward to probably all countries and say that look, there will be a privatized government or a privatized judicial dispensation mechanism, and this is what I think will convert every places of worship into a places of culture, places of dharma, which is broader in my view, and that is what will ensure that you become a civilization. How do you become a civilization? You become a civilization by ensuring that you elevate yourself. And how do you elevate yourself? It is by these type of actions that you elevate yourself.
See, two things which I observed in Dharmasthala, how the practicality of Dharma is being propounded. One is that there are two aspects to it, as he was putting across in the previous question. One is a spiritual aspect to it. The other is the general good or the general community, or what you call the common good, which is required for the entire. See, today a community of people are living in a place. They need to be actually shown the way that what is Dharma is. So what they are doing, according to me, is that they have a deep tradition of even the spirituality is maintained. You go to the temple, everything is done based on what the agamas are being explained. Apart from that, they also are doing a lot of activities for the common community of people. Other dharmic activities of, uplifting the people, bringing them to actually what is good, what is not good, running institutions, multiple institutions. There are a whole lot of activities happening out there.
For a world today torn by religion and ideological conflicts, this splendid symphony between spirituality and service, between focus on Madhava and the focus on Manava, between the action and contemplation, between the religious intensity of a devote and the expansive breadth of love to embrace and do service to society, sounds so heartening and interesting in this dharmic model. How does this blending happen so seamlessly in Dharmasthala?
the cause or the the effect or however you call it, how it seamlessly is happening, is being done by the Dharmadhikaris themselves. See, he correctly put this point that they are called Dharmadhikaris. They are the people who actually, are the custodian of Dharma, or how do you call it? They are the people who are going to implement this dharmic activities, and they are the, what I call as the living examples to do it. The previous question was also living examples to do it. The other beautiful thing about Dharmasthala, which hit my observation the first time when I went there, is the confluence of multiple religion or faith of people who are actually volunteering and doing service there. Lord Manjunatha, if we have to take it in the colloquial term, is people who are from Shaivite tradition who generally go there and worship Lord Manjunatha, being Shiva. The pujaris or the priests who are actually doing also by generation, who are actually maintaining and doing the pujas there, are from the Madhva background, who are staunch Vaishnavas, and they come and perform the pujas here for many centuries now. And the Dharmadhikari himself, or the Heggade family as they are called, they themselves are from a different sect or different faith, or from the Jainist sect. And they themselves are also, every day he goes there, he maintains the decorum, he maintains the spiritual purity, everything is being done by this person also, this family also. And also if you go and see there, all the other community of people, irrespective of, they are from different caste, creed or status of society, they come and perform their voluntary service there. I have seen some fishermen community people coming and doing some service there. People from different community coming and doing their voluntary service there. So this has been a wonderful, confluence of multiple faiths, multiple religion as you say, and multiple caste and creed of people who are coming and volunteering service for a common good. In surrendering to the Lord, that by doing this, that is the well goodness of the entire community which are living here, and that is how Dharma can be maintained, is actually very much visible in Dharmasthala.
Speaking about the Dharmadhikari of Dharmasthala, Pujya Dr Heggade, Dr MRV, I remember that way back in June 2017, you had tweeted stating that Pujya Heggade should become the next president of India. What went on in your mind when you suggested the candidature of Pujya Heggade for the president of India?
I am a strong believer that India has much to offer. The modern India has much to offer to the outside world. But what are we going to offer? Are we going to offer clones of the West, speaking their language, ideology and physiology? Or are we going to offer something extremely Bharatiya? That's the phrase that is currently in currency. Are we going to be offering themselves biryanis and pulaus, or are we going to offer something more? My view is that we have much to offer and the world has much to learn from us. The world is searching for these answers. And Dharmadhikari himself was a model that the world requires greater examination. In fact, I would even urge that the UN takes this a study and puts it in its official recommendation as to how conflicts get resolved within societies. And for this, I thought India, when it has to label itself as a Vishwaguru, it is not mere labeling, it has to offer something concrete. And if it has to offer something concrete, it has to be palpable for the outside world, and it has to look, and they will ask, what is it that you have done to yourself? It's not a theoretical framework, it is practice, and practice not for few years, it is practice for the last few centuries. So this model, if it is probably done institutionalized and probably reduced to in writing and formally presented, please take it to Somalia, please take it to US, please take it to Japan, please take it to Australia, please take it to China. These are the models that we can say. And this is nothing to do with Hinduism or Hindu temples. You can still have the same model working in a Buddhist monastery, you can have the same model working in a Christian church or even in a mosque. All you require is an elevated Dharmadhikari where people believe. That is why I thought, if the government of the day makes him the president, he is not going to be a president like Kalam, who was a great scientist. He is not going to be a president for the sake of something that he is known as a spiritualist or somebody who is a writer or some other profession. But here is a person who is a Dharmadhikari, who establishes Dharma. And in this day of, as you very rightly said in your opening remark, that that the Dharma is dwindling downwards, here is someone who is upholding Dharma, who is fighting his cause for upholding Dharma, becomes representative and symbiotic of the symbolic of the nation's spiritual connect, and also offers a person a living proof to the outside world. Here is our Dharmadhikari, who offers something beyond science, beyond something who is an agriculturist, who is a lawyer, a chartered accountant, politician. Is something who offers Dharmadhikari, a new concept that the Western world would not know. Probably he would have been one of our brilliant presidents, not only for ourselves, for the sake of the rest of the world. That's why I made that recommendation.
Swamiji, you have been blessed and you are fortunate to have witnessed Pujya Heggade at close quarters. You have once described Pujya Heggade as the flowing Ganges stream, bringing with its wave divine power, serenity, joy, and loving compassion to all around him. Can you please share some of those candid, beautiful moments you have enjoyed with Pujya Heggade?
Yeah, what you said is very true. I was indeed very, very fortunate to have some close and personal association with Pujya Heggade. And indeed, those moments were really very unique, that I drew a lot of lessons from them. If I have to put across some three characters of him which actually stands out, is that one is, I would put it as a 3 P's actually, 3 P's for each character. One P is actually for having the patience. He has patience for everything. If you go there, in midst of so many things that are happening there, in a very, very frantic phase, still he has the patience for you. He smiles at you, he greets you, he meets his employees, he meets the volunteers, he meets the puja department people. Everything is done at his own pace and patience. Number 2 is purity. For any spiritual organization, purity is very, very sacrosanct. And he, for what I have seen, from morning when he actually gets up, he does the swadharma of performing the Jain pujas at his own home, and then goes to the temple at maintaining the purity of the entire temple, where every at a constant intervals they clean up the entire temple to maintain the purity. And still many of the items that are required for puja are maintained. So I can go on and go on, purity has been maintained. Number 3 is also what he has is actually that the pulse of people. The third P is called the pulse of the people. Today, as a Dharmadhikari, Dr. M.R.V. was putting across that dispensing justice, you need to know the pulse of people. One thing which he has actually done over a period of time, which I could see when I saw that, is that he is able to understand the pulse of people. In minutes he is able to deliver justice. That is quite an amazing thing for a person. Within a minute is able to understand what this person needs and what he has to be given out. In the Vedic text, there is a beautiful verse which comes out, which is termed as Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Idara Upastha Vegam. I see this verse to be an embodiment. This person is actually following this. One is called Vacho Vegam. Vacho Vegam means the way in the Vacho means words. What words to be spoken, when to be spoken, and how it has to be spoken. So Vacho Vegam is very clearly understood when you actually move across with him. Second one is called Manasa Krodha Vegam. Manasa Krodha Vegam means how he is able to control his mind and anger. Some of the times, being we are all a nascent organization, many times I have myself and even our own peers here would have got really angered by some of the things that are done by our own volunteers who are doing some service. On many occasions I observed in Dharmasthala that he was not perturbed at all. Manasa Krodha Vegam, he was able to have that control of his Krodha. The third thing is called Jivha Vegam. Jivha Vegam means the control of what to eat and to maintain that purity. That's what I said purity for. I was amazed to hear that he became the Dharmadhikari or the Heggade at the age of, at a very young age, maybe at 20 or whatever, very young age. And today he is more than 75 years old, 74 years old. So for 50 years, he has maintained that purity. And he once told me when we were walking across that, even for all these 50 years, he is not even, he completely maintained that purity by not even having any food outside, even packed food or even from a restaurant or even if somebody coming and offering some food. This is the purity of an, Madhatipati, or what you call a head of an institution, who is dispensing justice and who is a Dharmadhikari to maintain that purity, which Shastra also says called the Jivha Vegam. Jivha means tongue. How to control your tongue is also very, very important to be a leader. So, the fourth one, Itara Upastha Vegam. What it says, Itara Upastha Vegam, is the Vegam of other organs of your body. We have 5 organs, 5 sense gratification organs, and remaining organs also you have to be in complete control, so that you become the role model for all the people, as MRV sir was telling here, that every grahastha, every person, every bhakta who is coming to the temple is going to look at him as a role model. And the Shastra again tells us that Mahajanayena Gatasa Pantaha. These are the Mahajanas who are showing us the Pantha, the route, the path which the common man has to traverse. So I simply adore him. And in fact, what I did is that I spoke in length about his beautiful things that are happening in Dharmasthala and how he is managing it. And I actually invited my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami, and we all went there, stayed there for 2-3 days. Both myself and him, my spiritual master, spent a lot of time, understood a lot of things of how this the system is being run there, and we took a lot of lessons from it. So even to my own parent organization, we have passed on many of the things that are happening very good there and which can be taken as an implementable points for running a big spiritual organization. And it has been a wonderful journey, and I also look forward for spending much more time with him, learn a lot of things from him, and take it forward for the future generations.
Thanks for sharing those precious insights, Swamiji. What I understand is that the life of a noble and virtuous person like Pujya Heggade ji is no doubt a beautiful and a powerful force for the good of the society. Their life is a message for all of us. How do individuals like me and how do all of us in the society take these learnings forward, Swamiji?
As Dr. MRV put across, that every one of us who have got associated with Dharmasthala or who know him very well should be the brand ambassadors to take all these things across to every one of them across this country and across the world. The first thing in our Dharma tradition is the belief and faith. All the devotees who have been there, who regularly visit there, or who have very high regard for this Dharma Kshetra should keep continuing doing what they have been doing for many, many years. Nothing is lost there. The same tradition is maintained, Dharma is maintained, purity of the spiritual activities is maintained. We go with full gusto, even more people, we bring more people there. We tell them about the importance of this temple. As MRV also put it across that, spend more time in the temple, understand about the history of it, understand about the importance of it. Even now, very many activities are happening there. I mean, the art and cultural activities, the training programs for women, the training programs of many of the children also happening there. I can keep on, remembering a lot of activities that are happening every week, every day there. There is no dearth of activities or spiritual activities or cultural activities at Dharmasthala. So as a common man, as a bhakta, as a devotee, partake in all the activities, be a part of this entire scheme of things that are happening in Dharmasthala. That will give a big boost to the Kshetra Dharmasthala, and also this will weaken the enemies who are having some, what I call as the very disgraceful motive of bringing down our institutions. I came to know recently that we are going to have the good fortune to have his 75th birthday that is coming up. Why don't we take his message, take his actions, take his the glorious things that has done for the last 50 years or so for this country, for the Dharmasthala, and also for the general humanity in general, to propagate it to the whole world, propagate to everybody around there, and make him as a shining star. See, we need such examples to be shown, and he is one such living examples with us. And why it cannot be done in a very, very bigger way, that everybody understands him, that this is the person who has done it rightly, and this is the model which can be followed it also.
The spiritual evolution, both individual and social, is the final goal of Dharma. What is necessary, therefore, is a proper understanding of Dharma. What is the role and responsibility of each of us in protecting this Dharma, in safeguarding this Dharma, and standing with Dharma?
Attack on our culture, attack on our places of worship, attack on our Swamijis, sons, Dharmadhikaris will intensify. And this is a no-holds barred war.
And this will go intense by the day. It will go intense in future. This is not a one-off effect or or a casual one that has happened. This will intensify, and this will intensify as we proceed along. Why do I say that? I see a pattern. I see a pattern because you can hurl the basest and the most carnal abuse on anybody who is a monk. This has happened right from the days of even Swami Vivekananda. This has happened to Netaji also. So this will be the most easy thing to do, is to question their celibacy, is to question their vow of asceticism. So that is what these chaps are doing, and they are trained mafia, and they will be successful as long as they are allowed to be successful. But we need to fight this dharmic war, and we need to take it up as a dharmic war. That is why people like me feel that we should offer our services in whichever way is possible, as a lawyer, as any legal consultant, at the feet of His Holiness. And we feel that this war will arise, will continue, and we need to fight it back. There is no way you can stop the war from starting, but we should be the one who will finish it. And we should finish it in the most dharmic way. Attacking one's character, especially of men who have character, is the easiest one. It's a David versus Goliath fight. Goliath has got maximum character. You hurl a stone and hope that some stone goes and hits and creates some sensation, and for a ever famished media of that wants some good news, even bad news is good news. So you collect and you become an overnight hero. This is what is happening, and this has been there in the last 30-40 years. In the last 20 years it has accelerated, and I am seeing these attacks becoming sharper. So the lesson for us is that they are sthita prajñas. They will continue, as you said, their duty to Lord and to the humanity, and they will continue on their path. But any attack on Dharmadhikaris or sons or any religious head or the institution or the dharmic way of life actually affects the grahasthas. They are not going to be affected. It is we who are the beneficiary of the system who will be affected. So that is why I say that this is a war on them, but the victims will be the bhaktas and the devotees. So we need to understand it is our war. We need to respond accordingly. It is not a war on any institution. It is a war on your doorstep into your house. Every grahastha has to rise to the challenge and fight this at its fullest might. He cannot be equidistant from this. He has to participate, and he has to uphold the dharmic values by participating in the war and fighting for dharmasthalas. All the dharmasthalas require our help. It may be this dharmasthala or some other dharmasthala, but every dharmasthala is under attack, and this dharmasthala, if it is under attack, all bhaktas and devotees of this dharmasthala must come and rush to support this particular institution.
Harish, you are not so old, so probably you will not understand this term called OYT. This was called Own Your Telephone. Probably 30 years back, you have to pay 8,000 rupees and get your telephone, which will come within a month. Otherwise, you have to wait for 15 years to get a telephone. Now I want to start a new OYT movement. It is called Own Your Temple. Okay, this will be something that you attach yourself to a temple. And Swamiji very rightly said during the course of one of your questions, nowadays people go and spend as much time in a temple as they would spend a time in, say, in a teller machine or to withdraw cash. They want to go get an instant darshan, pray to the Lord and come out. Our places of worship are not intended to be your teller machines or your ATM booths. You have to go and capture the energy. You have to spend time. You have to be there. You have to be there for some hours. That is why Own Your Temple movement has to start. And all of us, it can be your neighborhood temple or some temple somewhere, but those who are associated with this particular temple, Manjunatha Swami temple, my humble plea would be that make it a point that you don't rush to the temple, have a darshan and get away. Please be there for some hours, spend some time, gather the energy, and that is what will put us in good state. So this itself, the problem with us is that most of us don't have time, and time is the biggest dana that we can give back to this particular institutions. These institutions want our time. They are crying for our time, and it is our dharma that we spend some time. Professionals who can write software for them, who can help them in crowd management, people who can help them in administrating better, people who can give legal advice to them so that they can help them, they help their causes much better. All sort of accountants who can help them with accounting. So many people can volunteer and do so many things for the entire spiritual movement or the dharma movement that is happening. These are going to happen without us. They will do for us. But the question is, Harish, that we need to ask ourselves, what is that we are giving back to these people? What is that we are giving back to these institutions? And I personally feel everybody must spend 1 hour every week. I am asking 1 hour per week in the temple of your choice. And more importantly, when you come to bigger kshetras, at least we must visit once in 3 months. And so that we give that type of response to the people who are carrying on this type of institution. Tell them that these type of larger institutions are the umbrella institutions, which they call it, are under which several smaller institutions are functioning. And these are role models that we need to capture and try to emulate in our personal family life and all these things. These are things that we need to take care. So my humble plea to all the bhaktas is that please see that you participate not from a distance, but actually giving time. And that is what will put all these dharma kshetras in good state.
The real secret of life is to understand this dharma, the great cosmic law, and having understood it, to hold on and support it dearly. To the extent a person is able to do so, he protects himself. As is described in Manusmriti, Dharma eva hato hanti, Dharma rakshati rakshataha, tasmat dharmo na hantavya. Which means, Dharma, if destroyed, destroys everything. Dharma, if protected, protects even the protector. Therefore, Dharma should never be destroyed. My deepest gratitude to both Swamiji and Dr. MRV for sharing their beautiful insights and thoughts with us today. Thanks to all the viewers. Thank you